Ranjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Manah Shiksha series. We have been discussing text 6, Are Che Prodayet Kapata Kutinati. Especially we have been discussing His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Goswami Maharaj commentary on this. And yesterday we could not have the class because it was Nandutsav, appearance day of our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So up till now, if you remember in the discussion, Maharaj begins his essay with the prelude, what is Kapata and Kutinati? Don't bathe in this donkey's urine, but bathe in the nectar of Radha Krishna's pastimes. And what is this deception and cheating? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is cheating. And what is the role of the mind in cheating? He goes into that. And especially pretense. We put guises. The classic example of Hanuman putting a guise of, a Brahmana, and he could not recognize his worshipable Lord, whom he had worshipped throughout his life from childhood. So these guises, what we put, we cannot see God, even though God is in front of us. And this is the path of deceit. This is the path of deceit. Kapata, cunning, hypocrisy, slyness, fraud, trickery, evasion. So Maharaj explains that opposite to kapata is simplicity and determination. And he gives the definition of what is simplicity. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his work, mentions that in Kali Yuga, if you have these two things, simplicity and determination, then you can attain success. You can attain success. Now we are at this theme, which is a very important theme, which is coming up, offenses and cheating, the relationship. So this cheating is also an offense. And what is the connection? What is the relationship is what is the theme we are going to now discuss. Hypocrisy generates offenses Hypocrisy generates offenses. In referring to a verse from the Vishnu Dharmottar Purana, Srila Jiva Goswami also says that when a person doesn't stop themselves from committing offenses, then 100 offenses make a person a hypocrite. So, Vishnu Dharmottar Puran, Jiva Goswami quotes in the Bhakti Sandarbhas, and he mentions how if a person doesn't stop committing offenses, then the more he commits offenses, he becomes a hypocrite. Offenses and hypocrisy are thus each related as cause and effect to each other. So you commit offenses, it will lead to hypocrisy. And with hypocrisy, you will commit more offenses. They are symbiotic also in nature. Therefore, lack of sincerity is a result of having already committed offenses against some Vaishnavas or against the spiritual master. Further on, he says that 1,000 offenses deprive a person of the opportunity to perform austerities in the name of bhakti. So when the offenses goes to a very high degree, then you cannot perform the bhakti activities. If we do not stop there, but go on committing further offenses, we lose our power and cannot follow even the basic principles of spiritual life. So this is how the magnitude builds on and how it affects. First, a person offends the Vaishnavas, and for a while, everything seems all right. Everything seems all right. Now, this is a very subtle tendency in the conditioned soul. And it was my observation. I was in Bangalore and we had a two-wheeler of our ashram. And I stopped at the signal because at the signal you're supposed to stop when especially it is red. And another biker, he just came and, although he had to follow that rule, he just, bypassed it and just moved away. You know, even the policeman could not stop him. And I could see on his face, there was a kind of you know, a kind of a kick, you can say, a kind of a pleasure in deriding the rule. So similarly, when a Vaishnava also commits offense, he gets a kind of a pleasure. Oh, I've committed offense, nothing is going to happen. Everything seems all right. So this is very, very dangerous. Then go on offending them and slandering them as much as possible behind their backs. Sooner or later, after a certain point, they will have no power to follow the basic principles. Further, it is said that 10,000 offenses deprive a person of the opportunity to practice bhakti. So, Jiva Goswami is quoting these figures. Now, Maharaj has to say something more about it. Of course, all these numerical values should not be taken literally. But the point is that if people do not stop committing offenses, then in the end, they will lose the opportunity to even pronounce the holy name. Now, we are able to take the holy name, it is because we have mercy. And because we have mercy of the Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatarubhesya Kripa Sindhubhe Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Because we have the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we are able to take the holy name, because the holy name is completely spiritual and bhakti is spiritual. Without the spiritual potency endowed in our heart by the mercy of sadhus and Vaishnavas, we cannot even take the holy name. And it is an observation that if you commit offenses, you cannot take the holy name. You cannot pronounce even the holy name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said of the Mayavadi sannyasis in Banaras that he came to these great panditas, but despite all their knowledge, their tongue cannot turn to pronounce Krishna. They say Brahman, Brahman, but their tongue cannot say Krishna. Here, Raghunath Das Goswami warns us against the cycle of offenses and deceit. He says that everything starts very innocently and just a slight tendency to small deceptions. So this has been the theme, and I also gave you example. If you remember, you steal something and you get pleasure, and then you start stealing, big robbery, start doing. So that's how everyone begins. Even the greatest of greatest, thieves in this world who were famous, they all began with small things. Therefore, the topmost qualities of the devotee are determination and simplicity in order to realize the supreme ideal of devotional service. So, simplicity and determination. Simplicity will protect us against offenses and will help us persevere pure, simple faith without obstructing it. Determination will help us overcome all the obstacles that will inevitably arise on our way. If we have these two qualities, we will attain Krishna. If we don't have these two qualities, simple qualities, we will not be able to understand anything. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Dandat Pranam. It's my humble request. Could you elaborate in detail about the simplicity and the determination? What all points it includes?
Well, in the last class, we discussed what is simplicity. Simplicity, as Maharaj gave the definition from the Hitopanishads, I think last class you were not there. Manasyasya ekam, vachasya ekam, karmani ekam, mahatmanam. Manasya anyat, vachasya anyat, karmani anyat, duratmanam. So, one who thinks, speaks, and does the same thing is called mahatmanam. So I think, good about the devotee. So I speak also about it. But I think bad about the devotee, but I speak in front of him good. That is duplicity. So if one practices simplicity, simplicity is nothing but, sincerity or honesty. And he will get the determination to persevere. So that's how Maharaj explains that duplicity, opposite of duplicity is simplicity. So when we are duplicitous, then we, commit offenses. We cheat and commit offenses, and the whole cycle is being described here. So most important is that uh, uh, we have a simple heart, a guileless heart. It is mentioned. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that we, we have a heart of a child. Exactly, to me that there is no duplicity uh, inside us, and uh, we should be free from deceit. That is the main problem. That is the main thing we need to do. We should be free from deceit. Okay, where were we? Yes. Yeah. Simplicity will protect us from offenses, and determination will help us to overcome the obstacles. If we have these two qualities, we can attain Krishna. If we don't have these two qualities, we cannot do anything. Bhakti is our attempt to enter into a relationship with God Himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have already mentioned that in the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasdev calls Krishna Param Satya, the absolute truth. This means that to enter into a relationship with Krishna, we must acquire the same nature of the truth. So we should be truthful. We cannot have a different nature, because then a relationship with Krishna would be impossible. So Krishna is absolute truth, and we should be also very truthful. Truthful to ourselves, truthful to others. Even in the material world, if we consider the science of relations between human beings, astrology recommends selecting those whose nature is as close as possible to our own. Especially a match, when it is done, they see whether the qualities match. It's not based on just attraction, but whether their qualities match, because they're going to stay together for lifetime. And if the male is of a Pitta Prakriti and the female is of a Vat Prakriti, or the opposite also, then the night, somebody who's of Pitta Prakriti, they want the fan on, and the other person doesn't want, and they will fight with each other all night. So it can create so much problems. So they have to be of the same nature. Today they don't look into this aspect, and they don't understand the science, how important it is that they have to be of the same nature. Any difference in nature will eventually bring about a conflict. To a much greater degree, this is true in terms of our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, just to bring this point out about simplicity, one Sant Tukaram, because he was a very simple-hearted devotee, and his wife was always telling, earn something, do something, for, there's no even grains at our home. So he decided that, he uh, purchased sacks of chili, and he traveled from Pandharpur south. I don't know where exactly he went, but somewhere south, he decided that he traveled to sell these chilies at a good price and then make some profit, pay the farmer whom he had purchased the chili, and then get some money for home. So he went, and in that village, he set up his shop. That that in the village there is the area where there are open market. And Sant Tukaram, being very simple, he said, please come and take, I'm selling at a very cheap price. So people came, and they saw that, observed that Sant Tukaram is very simple. They asked, can I, uh, go and get the money and give you later on? He said, yes, being very simple. And people picked up one after the another, one after another. These people started informing others, hey, there is a trader. He's, he's foolish. He's just giving, and he's expecting that, we'll later on come and give, but we'll not give the money back. So one after another, people came and they said, can we have half a kg or 1 kg, and then I'll go home and get you the money back. And he said, yes, yes, no problem, please take. So like that, one after another, he was selling the chilies, and the sacks were getting over. And in that village, there was a big mafia. And the news went to him also, and he sent his people that go and buy an entire sack. So one last sack was remaining, and they said, we will go and deliver this to our owner, and he will, come and give you the money. He said, okay, take it and go. So at last, everything was over, and Sant Tukaram is very peaceful, and he's thinking, oh, everyone will come and, pay me. So till then, let me make the bhoga for the Lord. So he just cooked rice, and then Lord Vittal came there, and he said, my dear Sant Tukaram, you are very simple, but these people are very duplicitous. None are going to come and return you the money. So Vittal took a form of a boy, and then he knew everything. So he went to each and every person house who had, picked up the chilies. And he told, my owner has sent, you have recently from the market bought the chilies, Santukaram. So you have taken half kg, please pay the money. They were surprised, you're not there, but I know, see, you have taken half kg, you have taken 1 kg. So each and every house he went and collected the money. And at last he went to this mafia's house. And, he came and told that, my master sent me, you have packed an entire sack of chili. Now please pay the money. Who is doing this? Vittal. In the guise of a Brahmana boy. And being a mafia, he said, I won't return. I won't give you the money. Go, get lost. See, I have to, I'm very obedient to my master. I have to take the money and go. I'll not leave this place until you give me the money. So there was a big fight which ensued between this mafia and this boy. And people started gathering, villagers started gathering. And this mafia, he was very adamant. The kid was also very adamant. At last, what he said, if you don't give me the money, then I will hang myself here. So he took a rope literally and he was about to hang. And the villagers were annoyed. No, 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 you cannot do this. You have to give the money. So they put a lot of pressure. And at last, this mafia was bound, to pay the money for the chili. So the Lord, out of love for his devotee, what is not ready to do it? So in one sense, somebody is very simple at heart. You might think you might cheat him, but you cannot cheat Krishna. You cannot cheat Krishna. Krishna knows everything. So we have to be very, very careful, and if you take advantage and cheat also a devotee, you cannot cheat, Krishna. You cannot cheat the spiritual master by, taking his blessings without being sincere. And you might make a show of sincerity and take the blessings, but ultimately, Krishna is there in the heart and Krishna knows everything. So it's very important that we should be very, very simple. And here Satyam Param is being discussed. So our nature has to be the same of Krishna. That is, we have to be very truthful. We must acquire 100% the same nature. That is, we must become absolutely pure, just as we cannot approach the sun unless we have the body of fire like the sun. When we take up the path of bhakti, it is like fire rapidly burning up all our impurities. The holy name can almost immediately cleanse the human heart of all sins. But there is something very significant preventing this, and it is offenses. It is only offenses which are the major obstacles in our purification of the heart, and especially the offense in the form of Nam Aprahad. And what to speak if there is Vaishnava Aprahad, that is still more severe. If we commit them while taking up to the path of bhakti, these offenses deprive bhakti of its power. We practice bhakti, but instead of purifying us, bhakti can sometimes contaminate us. Please mark this point. And how it is going to happen, we will come in that next theme. In the next theme, it will become clear. Hold on till then. This seems paradoxical, but that situation is exactly what Raghunath Das Goswami is writing about here. Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, you're bathing in donkey's urine, my dear friend. Both you and me are bathing in donkey's urine. Instead of that, bathe in the nectar, Sudam Bodho. But this is what Raghunath Das Goswami is also saying. Instead of getting purified in the nectar, you are getting putrefied in donkey's urine, in Pratishta, Asha, Kapata, Kuntinati, all these things. We are bathing in urine and therefore we are not getting cleaner but dirtier. If we were bathing in the ocean of nectar, there would be no problems. We would get clean very soon. The problem is that we start bathing in the donkey urine of our own deception which is the urine of offenses we are committing. And because of deception, we commit offense. The best defense is an offense. You have certain agenda, and to accomplish it, you act, and somebody is an obstacle, you offend him. That's the reason our hearts grow hard. Bhakti is supposed to soften our heart, which the acharyas compare to butter. Love makes a person very sympathetic. A loving person will never hurt those they love. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana. When a person attains bhakti, immediately all the best qualities appear. Now, here we should remember Yasya Asti. Yasya means in whom, Asti means there is, Bhakti, Bhagavati, unto the Bhagwan, Akinchana. Akinchana means pure devotion, or Nirmal Bhakti, or Shuddha Bhakti. One who has Shuddha Bhakti, all these qualities emerge. Bhakti itself is what makes a person marvelous and very attractive. But he also says that if people have no bhakti, then their minds are always fixed upon or attached to external things. Harava abhaktasya kuto mahatguna. Harava abhaktasya. One who is not a devotee of Krishna, he has no good qualities because bhaya means he is attached to the externals. That's what Prahlad Maharaj mentions. In the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another very important verse, 3:19:36. Tam sukyaradyam rujubir ananya sharane nriba kritagya kona sevata duraradyam asadubhi. This is a very interesting verse. This verse says it is very easy to worship Krishna. Aradhyam means to worship, and Sukham means very easily and joyfully. Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam, Pavitram, idam Uttamam. Pratyaksham, Avagamyam, Dharmam, Susukam, Kartum Avyayam. Susukam. Krishna is also saying in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, those who can easily worship him are the Rujuvi, those who have a simple heart. Ananya Sharane Ravi. They take shelter exclusively of Krishna. Kritagya. They have a grateful heart. This is very important word in this verse. A simple heart means a grateful heart. If the heart is grateful, we will do anything for the one we love. So that is a connection between simplicity and gratitude. A grateful heart, a simple heart is a grateful heart. If we are grateful to Krishna, who has given us everything, we will do anything. But then it is said, Duraradyam asadubhi. But if persons are asadhu and their hearts are defiled above all by deception, Duraradyam, it is very difficult for them to worship Krishna. Now, Prabhupada, you can imagine when he went in 1965 to New York, and especially, he started the Bhagavad Gita classes in the Matchless Gift, Fifth Avenue. Prabhupada, by his purity and simplicity, instilled so much love in the heart of his disciples. And they were ready to do anything for the mission. They gave their lives for the mission. This was, the magic what Prabhupada did. And, sometimes when Prabhupada had to, he had his room somewhere else, and then he had to come to this place to give the class. And they were all drunkards and hippies. And Prabhupada is to respect them all the way. They were high on drugs and they were lying down there. And he used to respect them. And they could understand the heart of Prabhupada and they used to move aside. And there's a famous pastime. Once Prabhupada was giving a lecture and suddenly a drug addict entered. He could not, walk also properly. And then, the class stopped, everything, everywhere there was silence. And everyone was wondering what this person is now going to do. And he somehow went into the toilet and he kept the tissue paper and he went back. And Prabhupada was very grateful. See, this is service to Krishna, he said. Although he was high on drugs, but still he did some service, and Prabhupada was grateful for that. So this is the theme. A simple heart means a grateful heart. Obstacles will naturally arise in the process of worshipping Krishna. Now, why does Krishna actually put obstacles in his worship is a very interesting theme. And just to bring a point that between a lover and beloved, when there are more obstacles, the deeper is that love also, when you cross that obstacles. Similarly, Krishna places these obstacles because in our heart there are impurities. And the more we try to cross these obstacles, the more we'll get pure. And that's why Krishna wants us to become pure. And that's why these obstacles are there. And that is why naturally there will be obstacles in the worship of Krishna. We should expect it. And that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur made a very remarkable statement. And he said, for those who are sincere on this path is laid with thorns. This path is laid with thorns. So somebody who is not sincere, who is just, doing a lot of activities and, he's not attentive in his chanting, he's going on with life, he's having nice time. And he sees others, they are struggling, they are battling. Hey, what's wrong? I'm doing quite well. What is wrong with this? So many health issues he has, so many problems he has. So they cannot understand. So because they are sincere, there are so many obstacles. For those who are not sincere, they feel there are no obstacles. Everything is going on nicely in life. In Krishna conscious practice, they feel. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is making it very clear. For those who are sincere on this path is laid with thorn. So obstacles will naturally arise in our process of worshipping Krishna. Since we have taken up the path of bhakti, we have this unfortunate possibility of committing offenses, primarily using bhakti for our own purposes. Because we have that, unhidden, not unhidden, there are other motives. That is the reason. We forget that this is the very beginning of the mistake people make at first. We forget that bhakti is a goal in itself. Bhakti is not the means to achieve something else. It is not that we need something else, such as material prosperity or liberation. And that is why we practice bhakti. Bhakti is the goal. But when we start using bhakti as a means for our own prosperity, we are deceiving Krishna, and thus we are committing an offense. So when you use bhakti for some other purpose, not as the goal, then we fall trap to deception. We are deceiving Krishna, and that actually is what leads to offense. This is the offense that lives in our hearts. We want something for ourselves. We want something for ourselves. At the same time, in pursuit of transient benefit, we lose our eternal benefit. We lose our eternal benefit. There are two fundamental principles which help us to keep our bhakti pure. Those are respect and gratitude. In the traditional Vedic system, a person is taught very consistently to respect their elders, to respect all living beings, and to be grateful. When a person has these two simple qualities, it is easier to practice bhakti. Otherwise, obstacles will arise. Obstacles will arise. So these are the two most important qualities also one should develop: respect and gratitude for whatever we have. If we are simple also, we will respect also. Yes, Dr. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandasana. Generally, it happens in life that you meet people either in your family, close relatives, or in your career colleagues and all those. So many a times we know that person is not behaving in a proper way or he is not doing good things. So in that case also, how can we keep our the attitude of giving respect to them and always keep ourselves in a gratitude mode? When
Yes,
it seems very
yes,
difficult.
yeah, it is very difficult, and that's why uh, it will come up. It will come up in the next paragraph, and then I will give a further explanation to your question. Okay, so respect and gratitude are very important. Now, why we cannot respect? This is coming in the next paragraph. The mind is programmed to enjoy by feeling its superiority over others. We can say this desire to feel superior over others is the operating system of the mind. The OS of the mind is what? To feel superior over others. So when you feel superior over others, then it is very difficult to give respect. And just like you brought out that question, somebody who has done harm to us or somebody who is of not a good character, uh, the tendency is to see faults, and the tendency of the mind is to see that how they are inferior. And that's why to give respect becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult. And this is the challenge we have, that because the mind is programmed like this, the mind is programmed like this. And we see in the case of Draupadi, her 5 sleeping sons were killed by Ashwatthama, and Arjuna and Krishna, chased him. They caught him. Arjuna caught him and tied him with the ropes, which you should never do to a Brahmana. Krishna said, he's Atataina, he should be killed. He gave his verdict, and he was got in the camp. But moment Draupadi saw Ashwatthama, release him first. Although he had done such a heinous act, but still she had that respect for a Brahmana because he's a son of our Guru, Dronacharya. So there, this comes out that a heart which is soft, uh, because Draupadi uh, is by nature a female and she has got a soft heart, Vama Swabhava, it is mentioned there. So that is why they don't commit offenses. And especially, it's very difficult, somebody who has done harm to us, somebody who has hurt us, uh, to, give respect. But that is, the real challenge, the real challenge. So we need to work on ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. This is very, very important. So this is, the conditioning of the mind. The operating system of the mind is we always try to feel that we are superior to others. When a person takes up to the spiritual path, the same program continues to function, and we still try to prove our superiority over Vaishnavas, and in due course over our Guru, and eventually over Krishna. So sometimes, when a very senior Vaishnava is giving a class, we think, oh, I know a better point than him. And then I might go and tell, that I have a better understanding than what you have presented. So we want to prove our superiority over Vaishnavas. And eventually it will go to Guru, and eventually it will come to Krishna. So this is very classically brought out in the pastime of Ramchandra Puri offending his spiritual master Madhavendra Puri. He found fault. He was in lamentation of deep separation from Radha and Krishna, and he said, you should be Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati na kankshati. He tried to instruct him, which was an offense, Guru Avagya. And because he committed that offense, what happened? Ramchandra Puri started finding fault with all Vaishnavas. He used to go to Vaishnavas and uh, take Mahaprasad, and he used to tell, give me more, and then, he used to also feed them more, and the Vaishnavas used to eat, and then they used to tell, oh, they are gluttons, they eat more. So he started finding faults like that, and ultimately he found fault with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some ants were clawing in the Gramira. Yes, this means he's eating sweets. Ants can't crawl anywhere. But Mahaprabhu accepted it, although it was not his fault, and he reduced his food by half. So, what happened to Ramchandra Puri? Eventually, because of committing these offenses, he was bereft of the association of devotees. He had to leave Puri. He did not run away with, he did not commit any illicit activities of illicit sex or run away with any other female. But he was bereft of the association of devotees. And that itself means it is because of offenses. So this tendency to, feel superior or others is the operating system of the mind, and we should be very careful about it. In the mind, there is a very clear algorithm for proving its superiority over others. In order to do this, it must see the faults of others. Now you come to the point. So, although somebody harms us, finds faults with us, we don't find fault with others. That is the great quality which we should develop. That is the divine quality. And Krishna in the 16th chapter of the Gita mentions this divine quality. In the 16th chapter, the first 3 verses, Krishna explains what are the divine qualities, and one is Apaishunam. Apaishunam Prabhupada translates as aversion to fault finding. He has an aversion towards fault finding. So this is the divine quality we need to develop. But when the mind is programmed like this, then it has to see fault in others. This is how the mind works independently of us. We do not need to force the mind to look for these faults. It will find them itself. Srila Jiva Goswami explains, as a result of this desire for superiority, a person seems to be outwardly worshipping the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, the sadhus, and Krishna, while inside disrespect for them is appearing. So this is duplicity also. Outwardly you are worshipping, Vaishnavas, Guru, and Krishna, but inside there is disrespect. Externally you show too much of respect, but internally there is no respect. Such a person starts looking for material qualities in them so that they can feel superior. They look at Vaishnavas and see them as non-Vaishnavas. They do not see the essential quality of the Vaishnava and how rare they are. How rare is Vaishnava? How many people really strive for God or are ready to give up something for His sake? But all we see are perceived bad qualities. So we don't, train the mind that how many Vaishnavas are there in each city. It's not even 1%. So how rare is a Vaishnava? So not seeing that, we only perceive the bad qualities. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls the anarthas that grow along with the bhakti upashaka. Upa means secondary and shaka means branch. In tropical countries, parasite species grow on the host trees, sucking out the juices of the original tree until it dries out. The same happens to us. If we project the material tendencies that are within us onto the sphere of bhakti without trying to hinder them, then eventually these material tendencies grow stronger and completely destroy our bhakti, just like the parasite species do when they sit on the host trees. So if we project all these material tendencies in the bhakti, it will dry up our bhakti. That will grow stronger. Now, how this happens, how the weeds of deceit will grow, is discussed in this next theme, which is a very, very important theme, which we will take up. Any questions up till now? Yes, Dr. Akshan Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If we see such sadhak or a person who is externally showing all the symptoms of Vaishnavas, internally he is not at all a bhakta. So, if he is very close relative of yours, so how will you convince or how will you convey this message to that person that he is doing not good?
Yeah, first of all, it's very important that if we observe also such a thing, maybe our observation, excuse me, maybe our observation might be wrong also. And if we genuinely are the well-wisher of that, person, he's genuinely related to us, and as a service in a humble way, over a period of time, we should first of all, deeply contemplate about it. How will you present it so that he will take it in a good spirit? And we need to pray to the deities, and then we need to, see how to address that issue. It's not that we suddenly, because we know him, we just speak about it. By that, he'll be hurt. So we have to be very careful in our dealings. And when our intentions are very pure, that we genuinely want to benefit that devotee, and we want that he also advances in Krishna consciousness, with all these intentions, we discuss with our superiors and then do it, then it will be, then it will be good for him. And genuinely, if we are doing it as a service, then they will also appreciate it. So that should be the meditation of a devotee in such a case. Just to give an example, Keshav Kashmiri was a Digvijay Pandit. And when he came to Nadia, all the learned Brahmanas, they all, on some pretexts, they left Navdeep, because they knew that they'll be humiliated, because they will be defeated by him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uh, was on the bank of Ganga teaching his students, and Keshav Kashmiri came there. He was only with few students, and then Keshav Kashmiri challenged Mahaprabhu. That time he was Nimai Pandit. He was playing the role of Vidyaras. He was relishing the Vidyaras. So he told him to, glorify the Ganga in beautiful verses. And just like waves, 100 verses he composed in glorification of Ganga. Within few seconds, he recited these verses. And Mahaprabhu, with a sharp memory, he picked up all the 100 verses and he pointed out defects in his composition based on Kavya and Alankar. And he was surprised. How did you really memorize it? And he very humbly said, by Saraswati's blessings, you can compose. By that same blessings, I'm able to also remember, he said. And then he defeated him. And when he defeated him, some of his, students, they laughed. And Mahaprabhu immediately turned to them and corrected him. There were only few of them there, first of all. So, Mahaprabhu arranged that this debate will happen in a place where there are not many, because he will not be, because otherwise Keshar Kashmiri will be humiliated. So Mahaprabhu was so sensitive. So similarly, if we are sensitive and if we genuinely uh, uh, have an intention to serve him so that he can more advance in Krishna consciousness, and we take care like that, then things will work fine. I hope it is clear, Mataji.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Very good.
Okay, so the last theme, we will begin this halfway. Tomorrow we will complete this entire discussion. How the weeds of deceit grow. Now, bhakti, along with bhakti, there are the upashakas which grow. When the bhakti lata grows, along with that, when a farmer cultivates, some crop, along with that, the water, the other seeds are there, which are upashakas, which also grow. So how the weeds of deceit grow, let us see this. In his purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 12:135, Srila Prabhupada explains that these weeds or parasites growing on the body of our bhakti begin with kutinati. They grow with kutinati, nitpicking, or the desire to find fault in others. So it all begins with desire to find fault with others, kutinati. We have this innate tendency. When we become devotees, this tendency is polished to perfection, because as devotees, we can better understand our own psychology. We can then see in a clearer way the smallest fault in others. Previously, we did not notice how the cheating mind works and how pride manifests itself. Now our heart rejoices when we see fault in others. Our heart rejoices when we see fault in others. Further on, Prabhupada says that what follows next is pratishta asha, or the desire for recognition. Pratishta means recognition, and asha means the desire or the hope that we will be recognized. In this regard, he gives an example of a person trying to imitate Srila Haridas Thakur. For example, I adore the deities, I make them an outfit, but I am hoping for praise for my efforts or my talent. See this Pratishta Asha, even for the deity service or when you make an outfit, there is a subtle tendency that, the devotee should come and say, oh, what a nice outfit. You want some praise. There is the Asha that somebody should come and praise me. Persons are decorating the deity, but it may be their own false ego that is standing on their altar and showing their expertise to everyone. If people do not say how wonderful you have made that, we are disappointed and think this society of devotees is not like what I was promised. So this is how Krishna also purifies our ahankar. And if we have ahankar, it's very difficult to stay in bhakti. We demand recognition and the thirst for it grows stronger and stronger. We preach. So someone admires how many followers we have, or we distribute books, so we will be praised for it. We fast on Ekadasi, but we make sure we will tell everyone what we fast from and the way we fasted, how many rounds we chanted, how we didn't sleep that night. We give a lecture so that someone says afterwards, oh, what a lecture. And if the devotees do not say that, we think everyone is in Maya. No one has appreciated it. So these are the tendencies which are there. This Pratishta Acha is there deep rooted, and we know inside ourselves, and we have to be very sincere and honest about it, and we have to work on it. So now the whole, sequence of events, how it happens is being explained. First is Kutinati, second is Pratishtasha. And the next thing is Jivahimsa. When you don't get the Pratishtasha, you hurt that devotee. Don't you recognize me? How great a preacher I am? Go and get this thing done for me. So you do Jivahimsa. Jivahimsa refers to the pain we cause. After deceit and hypocrisy and the attempt to exalt ourselves comes Agasu, the serpent with foul breath, like that of a dead fish. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this demon is a cruelty in our heart. So when we don't get Pratishta, because of Kutinati, we don't get Pratishta, and then we do Jiva Himsa, we become cruel at heart and we hurt others. What did he do with the cowherd boys? He devoured them. Agasur devoured them. Agasur represents cruelty. In the society of devotees, we also have opportunities for showing cruelty. Sometimes, if this tendency of Pratishtha Asha is there, and to our colleagues or those who are new devotees, we might be not snappy physically, but we can be snappy verbally. So that's we become cruel to them. Again, the same knowledge of psychology works. Psychology allows us to more painfully hurt others when we start pointing out their faults. First, I think ill of others, and then I start speaking ill of others, being rude to others, cutting their false ego. So sometimes people like to cut others' false ego, and they take pleasure in it. And this is a this is actually Jiva Himsa. I'll just finish this one more part, next paragraph, and then take the question. One woman was complaining to me about her husband. He comes and says to me, let me see where your false ego is. So heavy, Now I am going to cut it. He has children and a wife whom he needs in order to cut their false ego. So sometimes this is how Jiva Himsa manifest. Okay. Yes. What is the question, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Yes.
My question is that we come across, have different experiences in life, either with devotees or with our family or whatever. And many a times, maybe because of our ego or whatever, if at all we are humiliated or whatever. So, and if we know all this philosophy, the tendency of us finding their faults becomes still stronger, and by default the fault finding happens. So in such a case, how we have to control our mind and how we have to see, because this is for us so that we find fault in ourselves and improve. But if it is directed to others, how we can control our mind and what should we do that time?
Yes. That's why in the beginning years of our Krishna consciousness, we find bhakti is very simple and easy. We have the Vaishnava attire, we apply tilak, we chant rounds, and there's a transformation which happens. We give up all our bad habits, no meat eating, no intoxication, all this, very quickly with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is so potent that it happens, this transformation. But over a period of time, we see that, the internal purification of the heart, that is what we need to work on. And this internal purification is especially the tendency to find faults in others. And Krishna also arranges in the society of devotees only how to purify how to purify the false ego. Because the path of bhakti seems simple, but it is the most difficult. The path of Gyan is challenging intellectually because the Gyanis have to be knowledgeable with the knowledge of the Vedas and the Vedanta and the Upanishads. The path of Ashtanga Yoga, it's austere for the body because you have to go through so much tapasya. But the path of Bhakti is austerity for the false ego. And the false ego's tendency is to find faults, and feel superior to others. And especially if somebody has done wrong to us. So that requires internal purification, and to work on it, it's not so easy. It requires deeper introspection, it requires contemplation, and especially guidance of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we need to see examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam for this. Although Amrish, had to, break the fast, and there is also a rule when a guest is come, we should first, offer him prasad and then only take prasad. He had to just break the fast, and it is mentioned that if you're doing a fasting nirjala, and you can break the fast by taking water, that is also considered breaking the fast. So he consulted with the Brahmanas and did this. Durvas Muni, being omniscient, could understand that Amrish had honored something before I honored. And what did Durvas Muni do to Amrish? He created a demon from his hair to kill Amrish, to destroy Amrish. And but Amrish Maharaj did not protest. He just folded his hands and went into deep prayers and remembrance of Vishnu. Vishnu sent his Sudarshan Chakra. And this Sudarshan Chakra followed Durvas everywhere, even in the Vaikunta, and Narayan also could not save him. But all that time, Amrish was waiting for Durvas for that 1 year. And only when Durvas Muni realized this, he came back and begged forgiveness. Actually, it is said that Amrish, when he came, when he saw Durvas, he did not see any fault in him. In fact, he offered his obeisances first to Durvas Muni. And Durvas Muni, he transformed. There was a transformation in his heart, seeing the glorious quality of a Vaishnava. And that's how Durvas Muni also got transformed. So first thing is, Amrish Maharaj did not see any fault, although, he was attacked and, he was about to be killed. So these are extreme examples. And we should actually, that's why study the Shastra. When such circumstances happen, what should be our response? We should, see that maybe it is for my own purification. And, I should see rather faults in me. There is some fault in me, or maybe because of my own past karma, it is happening like this. And, we should, act in such a way that maybe in different circumstances we have to, if that incident of, somebody attacking us verbally happens repeatedly, then we should keep some distance, or we should consult our counselors and do whatever best is, in the interest of protecting our bhakti. So like that will vary based on, a specific case. But in general, I mentioned what should be our mood. Our mood should be as what is mentioned in the pastime of Amrish and Durvas Muni. Okay. So I'll just take this last paragraph and then we will end. Oh no, we cannot. We cannot complete this now. Okay, I'll just take 2-3 slides and finish this. Yeah. Maharaj explains of how a woman was complaining about husband, who used to say, "Let me see where your false ego is now. I want to cut it." So he had children and wife whom he wanted to cut his policy with. Recently, I happened to come across an article written by a very respected Vaishnava analyzing an article written by another Vaishnava, finding some trifles there and then publishing his condemnations on the internet in order to hurt. This is something that unfortunately happens under the pretext of fighting for purity. He is exposing another Vaishnava to the public flogging. Again, knowledge of psychology of other people allows us to more easily exploit others. Under the pretext of devotional service, people sometimes simply exploit each other, saying that we should selflessly serve, but at the same time, taking advantage of others. This is the manifestation of Jiva Himsa. Sometimes they will give the example of even, in the name of Prabhupada, we should do this, but they exploit us. And this is all the manifestation of Jiva Himsa. This is all the manifestation of Jiva Himsa. Now, we will stop here because time is up. We will take up, this is the next paragraph. I don't know, somehow it has come here. In tomorrow's class, we will complete this discussion. There's a very important series coming up of how this whole flow happens. How this whole flow of Kutinati to Pratishta to Jiva Himsa and then Nishiddhachar, how it happens. Maharaj is going to discuss that. And I will also discuss from the Chaitanya Charitamrita how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses that with Rupa Goswami. So we will stop here and tomorrow we will continue this discussion and end this theme. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami ki Jai. Shri Manah Shiksha ki Jai. Hare Krishna.